Hey guys, it's Trapper, Trip with Dad, where every trip becomes a story you'll tell for years. As you can tell, I'm sitting here with a whole bunch of fishing boxes and fishing lures and jig boxes and all this stuff that I would use to go on a bigger trip or maybe a fishing tournament or something like that. And when you take your kids on a fishing trip, a lot of this stuff not necessary. Matter of fact, you just need something simple like a fishing pole, a few bobbers, a few hooks, something very simple. This is for kids. And it's just an awesome way to take your kids fishing, but don't do it in such a way where do you feel like pressure, like you got to have all this stuff. That's not what a fishing trip is. A fishing trip is more just that intentional time with your kids, hopefully catching a few fish and maybe skipping rocks and maybe going to other places. But being prepared is awesome because you can actually make the trip go so much better with a lot less stress. So just have maybe one tackle box and maybe a couple fishing poles. You don't need one for yourself because hopefully you'll be spending more time taking fish off for the kids, especially if you're going to a small pond or maybe a small lake nearby or a lake, whatever you're going to, and have an opportunity to catch fish that way and just do all kinds of fun different things. Make sure to plan for snacks and water. Or maybe a pop or a diet pop or whatever you drink, and or juice, depending on the age. And one other thing that I think that would be very helpful for you to know is majority of states in the United States, especially, require a fishing license to be able to fish any waters. Sometimes private waters are not required, but depending on the private water. So it's always good to check with your state conservation department to make sure that you, if you need a fishing license to where you're going, to make sure you have that, because you do not want to have that go into a very bad, stressful situation. Yes, it'll be a story you'll talk about for years, and you'll probably laugh about it later, but not when it's on your first trip. And I just want to help you avoid that situation. Now, majority of states do not require a fishing license for a kid that is under the age of 16. So I know there's a couple states that have to be just under 12, and I think there's a one or two maybe at 14 or 15. So just you can look up your state conservation department in whatever state you're in and look up fishing regulations. That way you can know what's going on, what you can keep, what you can't. And so it's good to know that so that that doesn't turn into a bad situation later. But also plan for any layers that they might need depending on the weather outside. If it's going to be overcast, if it's going to be windy, we as men can be a little more hardy when it comes to stuff, but kids, they're very sensitive to any temperature changes, any wind. But if they're having fun, they'll forget about that, I'll tell you. Matter of fact, a lot of times if you have little kids, they take off the layers, throw them down, don't care how cold or hot it is, and run off. And so that's normal. But you still want to be safe in that process. And bring chairs if you're going to sit or if you're going to sit on the ground. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of fun that can be happen from sitting on the ground. And I remember taking a few little kids fishing. We had three of them. We had these three little poles, and we're at a pond here in close to Ankeny, Iowa, where I live. And I could not keep the fish off the line. They were casting out, and I was taking fish off left and right. Just little bluegills, and they were having the time of their life until one of them seen a frog. And then they all put the poles down and went to play with the frog. And you know what I did? I played with the frogs too. Because that's where they want to spend their time. And I want to be right there with them. That's where the deep conversations happen. That's where the questions happen. Dad, what do you think about with the frogs? What do you think they're doing? Why do you think they're up close to the water? Why do you think I could catch them so easy? You're going to have so many questions, so many opportunities to talk to your kids about different things. And it will be amazing the time that you have when you spend on the water, especially when you're completely ready to go and all the kid has to do is jump in the truck or the car and away you go.